Writing is a foundational skill for day-to-day living and one of the key components of literacy development. According to Tompkins, Campbell, and Green, writing is the complex process of producing a text, and it requires use of language, grammar, and text structure to make meaning. Writing must be taught with a balance of explicit instruction and authentic application. Within this presentation, I'll present different learning theories on the process and principles underpinning the teaching of writing. I'll explain the importance of assessments and how they influence one's development, and how these methods are practically applied within the classroom. Tompkins suggests that children move through 3 developmental stages as they acquire literacy skills. In the emergent stage, children are learning to form their letters in often seen scribbling letter-like forms. They use frames and spacing to scaffold their letter formation and later sentences, and often practice writing their names in an environmental print. Capital letters and full stops may be placed at random or at the end of the line, and by the end of this stage they can write 5 to 20 familiar or high-frequency words. As they move into the second stage, the beginner stage, children can already print both upper and lowercase letters, spell phonetically, and write more than one sentence to form a paragraph. They use basic punctuation, such as full stops, question marks, and capital letters, and are able to write single draft compositions and are beginning to learn how to reread their writing. At this stage, they can write 20 to 50 high-frequency words. The last stage, the fluency stage, sees children using the writing process to draft, refine, and publish their work. They write multi-paragraph compositions using a range of text types. They have a sophisticated as well as technical vocabulary to rely on and can apply grammar and punctuation to ensure cohesion and appropriate sentence structure. At this stage, they can spell over 100 high-frequency words. According to Tompkins, Winch, Ross Johnson, Holiday, Munjal, and March, and the Australian Curriculum of Assessment and Reporting Authority, for children to achieve the fluency stage of writing and develop into lifelong writers, they must be taught how to physically form the letters, the cueing system and how it is used in different contexts to express meaning for various audiences, different text types and their structures and features, and the writing process. Children begin with forming the letters in the alphabet and then moving on to forming sentences. As muscular control develops, they are able to form their letters quickly and legibly to write paragraphs and full composition of writing. Tompkins points out that with 21st century learners, typing has also become an integral part of the physical nature of writing. According to both UKLA and Tompkins, understanding the cueing system and the way it is used to make meaning is an essential part of the acquisition of writing. Tompkins breaks down the cueing system to include the knowledge of the phonological system, which includes decoding, phonemic awareness, and phonic awareness and how this influences one's spelling, the syntactic system, which is understanding the sentence structure, punctuation, and grammar and seamlessly applying it in one's writing to ensure written work is readable, the semantic system, the various meaning of words and how they can be used in different contexts, the pragmatic system, how language is modified in various social and cultural contexts and how this affects the tone of voice in one's writing, and the paralinguistic system, which is the use of punctuation, layout, illustration, and textual contrast to enhance the reading experience of written text. According to Akara, UKLA, and Tompkins, to be effective writers, students must be fluent in the composition of everyday text, classical texts such as letters, reports, and narratives, and multimodal texts that incorporate digital technology, audio, and visuals. They need to understand their various features, structures, and technical language and how they are applied to make meaning. The writing process is a 5-step nonlinear process which describes what students do when composing a text. The first stage is pre-writing, and during this stage, the author brainstorms their ideas, choose a topic, consider the purpose, audience, and context of their text, and choose a text type. The next stage is the drafting stage, and students create a rough draft which focuses on their ideas. Stage 3 is revising, and at this point they reread their draft and share, analyze, and reflect on their composition with peers and teachers. Following this, substantive change may be made. The fourth stage is editing. This is the process of proofreading the draft and refining the structure, sentence patterns, grammar, vocabulary, and spelling. And stage 5 is the publishing of the final copy of the text and sharing it with a designated audience. Tompkins suggests that children can be made familiar with parts of the process from a young age by seeing teachers correct work with a red pen, participating in teachers' conference to discuss their writing, using thesauruses for alternate vocabulary, and publishing their compositions on the computer. As they become more fluent, they continue to apply the scaffold to help improve, develop, and refine their writing. Teachers use a range of methods and classroom applications to develop students' writing. These include literacy-rich classroom cultures which promote quality writing, differentiated instruction which incorporates multiple learning theories, a balanced approach of scaffolding instruction to support students and the explicit teaching of technical skills in a meaningful context, assessing students' writing and providing regular feedback for students. Both Tompkins and UKLA suggest having a literacy-rich culture in the classroom where writing is promoted. This should be evident in the physical space of the classroom with word walls, environmental print, and writing corners, as well as according to Akara in the academics and curriculum. Students should be encouraged to use metalinguistics to critically analyze their writing and play with language to develop their understanding of sound, tone, word structure, and grammar. Students participate in daily activities that use and promote writing, such as creative writing, independent writing, publishing, author's chair, and peer conferences to reflect on each other's writing. Scholastic Incorporated advised that student work should be displayed in the classroom as it gives value to students' work and encourages their interest and motivation and allows them to develop their role as authors. Tompkins suggests to extend the literacy classroom culture into the children's home by providing literacy activities to completed within the home environment. According to Tompkins, effective teachers use the balanced approach when teaching children to write, incorporating multiple learning theories with authentic and meaningful activities. This may include the usage of behavioral influence, teacher-centered methods such as direct instruction, mini-lessons, and explicit skill instructions when teaching the various cueing systems and aspects of spelling, grammar, punctuation, text types, and text features. Social linguistic influence include peer conferences, shared writing activities, group brainstorming, and authors' chairs, where students get to share their published work and receive critique from peers. Constructivist theories promote authentic and meaningful learning tasks where students are given choices and take ownership of their writing. This also allows students to use their own experience and schemas to influence their writing. Writing workshops encourage students to use the writing process to develop their own compositions and focus on creative writing, as well as day-to-day text such as letter writing, scripts, and reports. Lastly, cognitive information processing theories encourage students to use writing as a meaning-making process and utilize strategies such as spelling strategies to achieve their writing goals. This learning theory also links reading and writing. These influences all create a differentiated method of instruction that effectively targets multiple learners within the classroom. The influence of differentiated instruction can be seen in the way teachers scaffold, guide, and nurture student writing. According to Tompkins, teachers provide 5 levels of support to develop writing and encourage them to gain independence. In such circumstances, Derwienke explains that skills are taught in explicit yet meaningful and authentic contexts with a gradual release of responsibility to the students. The highest level of scaffolding is modeled instruction. This is where the teacher demonstrates to the students how to write, compose, or utilize writing strategies and skills. Teachers often use mini-lessons, grand conversations, and collaborative learning to model instruction. UKLA also suggests that teachers should write themselves and share their own work. This not only promotes literacy in the classroom, but as the teachers become example of writers, they're able to demonstrate better writing techniques. In shared writing, the teacher and the student compose the text together. However, the teacher does the actual writing. This is often done when introducing new text types. In interactive writing, the teachers and students compose and write together. They also talk about the writing features and conventions. When teaching strategies, teachers can also use reciprocal teaching methods. In guided writing, the teacher gives a lesson on the specific writing skill and the students participate in teacher-facilitated practice activities. With independent writing, students have developed independence with specific skills, strategies, or text types and can now proceed to compose their own text. At this time, the teacher just monitors the student's progress and provides feedback when necessary. Tompkins suggests that students should be given regular time to just write as it helps sustain and develop their interest in writing. Tompkins and UKLA both suggest that when teaching technical aspects of writing such as grammar, punctuation, and strategies, it should be integrated into the compositional aspects. According to Derwienke and Anderson, this gives students the meaningful understanding of how these aspects affect their writing and readability of their composition. According to Tompkins and the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, assessment provides ongoing and immediate feedback for teachers, which is then used to guide and direct instruction in the classroom. Formative assessment uses observation, authentic activities based on learning, and efficient record keeping to provide regular data for teachers. Teachers hold regular student conferences to direct the feedback to the students, which according to NCTM allows them to critically reflect on where they are holding and monitor their own development. Teachers also hold conferences to plan, revise, and proofread student work. When it comes to judging writing, it can be challenging to judge the creative elements, so Tompkins suggests using performers, rubrics, checklists, and rating scales. Teachers often keep record of these together with other student work samples and portfolios as assessment data. Students should also be encouraged to peer evaluate and use peer conferences as a method for students to reflect and develop their own writing and receive responses from potential audiences. However, when it comes to summative assessments, although they can be used in the classroom with standardized spelling tests and writing tests such as NAPLAN, research suggests that the data collected from these are not always relevant or meaningful comparison for the students within the class, specifically with students where English is a second language or students with disabilities.